everyone. Welcome to summertime.
Happy 50th.
Yeah.
So that it all kind of aligned, right? With yesterday was the 50th anniversary of Jaws, the release of Jaws in theaters.
Right.
Mondo dropped all the merch.
Oh man, so much
stuff.
Right off the bat, Danny needs me to. Like, I'm like, do I have to pee now that I've seen all that water and splashing around? Right off the bat.
Hey, you can pee at any time, buddy. There's no rules against peeing in this podcast. We are a pro pee podcast.
Yep. But you have to do it on camera. That's the thing.
We didn't even make it 2 minutes before mentioning bodily functions. Which I guess is kind of my fault because there was a lot of blood on that first clip. But I just love that shot. There's the dolly zoom, right?
Yeah.
So I was looking for that. And
what? I went to look up to see how long Jaws was in theaters, and it said it premiered in Dallas at the Medallion Theater with Spielberg.
I feel like I read that somewhere. Yeah. We've had a lot of big things happen here.
It used to be more
because we're known for our shark attacks.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Maybe Spielberg wanted somewhere that was.
I mean, I don't know about shark attacks, but I know a lot of the lakes around here are filled with dead bodies. I mean, Lake Ray Hubbard.
Did you see they pulled out all those cars like 2 weeks ago out of
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of dead bodies in Dallas.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys about, before we get into our main topic, which will be the future of the DC universe. We're going to get into all the details from James Gunn's interview with Entertainment Weekly, and some of us watched the DC Showcase podcast. Also had him on, so he's just putting it all out there because there's a movie coming up in like a couple of weeks, and he's getting ready for it, and he's setting
Fantastic Four.
That's right. Jurassic Park World Dominion, whatever it's called now. Scarlett Johansson's Jurassic Park.
Yes.
She rewrote the book.
Michael Crichton, shut up about it.
You're right. Quit crying, Crichton.
Yeah. But what is you guys' this quick history with Jaws? Like, do you guys remember the first time you dove in there?
I was a kid.
Oh, see. I was going to say, I didn't see it until I was in graduate school, only because my beloved boss at the bookstore I worked at, we were chatting one day and Jaws came up, sort of like we often have with you, Danny. And he was like, "You haven't seen Jaws?" And he brought me the VHS tape the next day for me to watch it.
Well, how the tables were turned.
Right. But it was funny because I was just thinking about this as you showed that clip. Even though I didn't see it fully until I was an adult, it still had that impact on me where I'm at the beach. I will not go that deep into the water because it just like the media was everywhere. Like the trailer was on TV all the time. You saw clips on the news. And so I was just like, oh, if I go in the water, sharks are going to eat me.
Death. Ocean is death.
Yes, exactly.
Jaws has been like, I feel like it's omnipresent in my life. Like I feel like it's always kind of been there. I can't remember the first time I've seen it. It's one of my favorite movies. I've seen it like a bajillion times.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what the first time I saw it was. But I love all the little factoids. Like it hurt tourism, like beach towns, like for the next few years saw a slump in their tourism because of Jaws.
Yeah.
And then like people were out there just like, I mean, you know, you can look at the statistics of shark attacks or whatever. Like they're not huge, you know. But yeah, there was like this rash of shark killings that came up out of the movie Jaws, and both Spielberg and Michael Crichton were like, we didn't mean for that to happen. Like we were just trying to make a.
I also feel like in the nowadays world, because it became so mainstream or popular, maybe shark attacks were happening all the time. They just like, why would anybody report on that, right? Like it just like it's a thing that
they were all just boating accidents.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like you wouldn't report it. Would never be on the news. Like if I was running a newspaper, what would I run a shark attack story, right? But if the shark movie is everything that everybody's talking about, and I'm running a newspaper and I want eyes on my newspaper, like, oh, maybe I should report that shark story that I wouldn't have reported, 2 weeks ago before the movie came out or whatever. So I feel like that also, it's one of those things where like we just talk about it more because people are talking about it. So like more stuff comes out, right? So Clay, what about you? Where were you were you on the beach?
No, never. Like I went to, I think, Galveston Beach when I was a real little kid, but I don't think I'd been to the ocean until I was an adult. So like I wasn't really scared of sharks. And then I was one of those that I'd watch a movie and then obsess about the facts about it. And so you'd see like how many shark attacks were per year. But I mean, Jaws was just in the theaters for a very long time.
I bet.
Because it was one of the biggest blockbusters. So it is kind of the...
Yeah,
it's really why we do this.
The first blockbuster, they call it, right?
So, it's the first blockbuster.
It's the reason we do the draft, because we're looking for the blockbuster every summer, and so
I mean, and it defined the idea of summer blockbuster, right? They had not had that before.
Yeah,
now
a blockbuster could be in the theaters for 2 months. And that would be a long time, and then go to streaming within 2 months. But like then you would have it in the theater for so long, and then there was no cable, so you're looking forward to it being on TV, and then getting the TV edit that edits out all the blood. So you're just watching people point and be scared,
and the swear words,
One thing that I always found interesting, because I mean, the first time I watched Jaws, it was not here. I wasn't in the US, right? Which is funny because in other countries, well, in Spanish, the movie's just called Tiburón, which means shark.
Oh,
so they don't even translate, because Jaws wouldn't make much sense, because it would just be more. Jaws is more like mandibles, not the word. So it wouldn't be. I don't think it's a scary. Like Jaws is a scary title, I think, in English, but it doesn't make that much sense. But I never, like, for a long time, I was like, you don't think about Amity Island being in Massachusetts. Like you'd always figure it'd be somewhere like in Florida or somewhere lower, like where I would think more of a coastal town. I don't think of the Northeast as coastal towns, even though a lot of them are, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that? It was like one of my favorite like viral stories from like a year ago. I don't know. It may have been 2020, times a flat circle now. But the guy who just randomly in like a thrift store found the anchor jacket that the mayor wears. And it's actually like a production jacket. And so then he had to do all this stuff to like track down, like, how the hell did it end up in this store? And I'm the one that bought it, So yeah, it's great. I love it.
That's pretty cool.
And are any fellow fans of Jaws 3?
3D? The 3D one?
Yeah,
I've only seen Jaws 1.
I don't think I think I've seen the second one, but I don't recall seeing the third one.
Oh.
The third one is dumb, but it's fun. It's like they all tie into the first movie, except for the third one, I think, which is weird because like the mom of Jaws comes back. It's so stupid, but like the third one is just like it's Jurassic Park with sharks.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is.
Oh, at the SeaWorld thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leah Thompson and Dennis Quaid.
Leah Thompson's in it? I'm there.
Leah Thompson's in it. Yeah.
I know, what a cast. I'm in.
And some awesome 3D effects that you can no longer watch in 3D, but you get to see how they.
The Alamo will run it every now and again, and so Shelby and I will always go see it. I don't think they do it in 3D though.
Oh, okay. They do, because I'm sure they're gonna do it again for the 50th. I'm sure there's gonna be a few places, but if it's available, I might go watch Jaws at the theater. I would love to see Jaws at the theater.
Yeah.
They did re-release it. I know the Alamo was showing, but all the Alamo movie or all features were all sold out. And Alamo also does the thing where they will show it on the river. So
right.
So you're like in an inner tube, and I think the first time they did it, it was just like a private lake or something like that they huge one, and they stocked the lake full. They had to make sure that they stocked the lake with extra fish, so that people would be like having stuff. Now it's so big they do it out in like places that are huge. But
Piranha 3D.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like to point out Jaws 1 is like a school on cinema. Every scene matters, every dialogue, monologue, everything's so important. Jaws 2 is the opposite of that. None of the scenes are important. It is very like you can see the choices that are made are very bad. And then Jaws 3 is what happens when a studio gets a hold of something and just wants to try to make more money out of it.
Interesting
It's
when you
the
say
canon
that.
films of the
Yes.
Jaws movie.
Yeah, because it is surprising that they haven't tried to remake Jaws, even if it's
Well, I
just
don't
like
think
a shot for shot update of the first one or something.
Sharknado, sir.
I was gonna say
I mean,
you
I
got
was thinking the
Sharknado,
Meg,
the
but-
Meg.
I mean,
The
I
Meg.
feel like it's almost better. Like, all right. Let me invert that. Did the Psycho remake ruin that idea? Because again, like Jaws is a cinematic masterpiece. You don't fuck with that, right? And that's exactly what Vincent tried to do with Psycho.
What about a Twister style reboot that is like it's later on, it's the same world. You know, if you feel it,
That's what Jaws the Revenge is. Like Jaws 4 is the son of Jaws or whatever. Jaws' mom comes out of, and they for I don't know how. I don't know if that's
This time
I might have
personal.
seen Jaws. It's like the wife. I don't remember. It's been forever since I've seen.
Yeah, it's the wife.
Did they find the marriage license?
The wife of the shark?
No, it's Roy Scheider's wife.
Okay. I thought it was the shark's wife
I didn't
too.
know
I'm
he was
like, wait, what?
married. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Sorry,
Yippee-ki-yay melon farmers on TV.
Right.
You know.
So I did watch Jaws last night. They showed it on NBC, so broadcast television. They showed it on NBC, and they did have. There's that scene where the shark goes into the little tidal pool on the side, like they think it's the big attack and it's the kids with the fins, but the shark is actually on the side pool and he eats the kayaker. And there's that scene where the leg floats down, and that scene was on NBC last night. And I was like, oh wow, they actually showed blood trickling up and everything from it.
But you still don't see the nude girl at the beginning, I bet.
No, you did not see the nude girl at the beginning. You do see the head floating down. All the gore is there. None of
the gore is there. Yeah, that's allowed.
Is the best way to defend against a shark attack just to like void your vowels and taste that? Get a load of that.
No, that's what I'm gonna do now.
Hopefully you have stopped at your favorite Tex-Mex place before.
The other thing about Jaws is kind of also a timeline marker for when animal abuse was in movies, because you know how like now when you see movies that says no animals were harmed during this. In the 70s a lot of animals were harmed. There's a film called Mako where it's about a shark, and I believe the shark is connected to a guy who went through Vietnam, and they connect mentally somehow. Yeah, it's very strange. It's very insane.
Like Lieutenant Dan.
But to use a shark with a person in there, they like yanked all his teeth out. Like there's like so in the 70s there's like tons of these animal films where there's like huge animal abuse that existed until like laws were passed and they had to actually have people on set to monitor, even down to like bugs, if anything was killed during the making of the film.
So
that's why all movies are lame now.
You can just do it in CGI. So is the greatest legacy of Jaws Shark Week?
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be.
I was just curious.
I mean, the theme's a banger.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, and Spielberg and John Williams. So like,
there's a few legacies. It's a 5-player tool, that Jaws film.
I just my favorite fact is just the whole how bad the animatronic shark was, and Spielberg was still able to pull out pure gold from it because he realized that showing less is more. Again, classic Hitchcock, right? Like you don't have to show the shark; you can just ramp up the terror by not showing it. So.
That's right. Cool. Well, happy Shark Week, everyone. Go watch Jaws if you can.
It's a great movie.
Live every week like it's Shark Week.
That's right. Let's pivot now to something with less sharks. There could be some sharks, but less sharks for sure. Especially if we get King Shark back, right?
Yeah.
This week, as I mentioned at the top of the show, James Gunn, or I guess Entertainment Weekly, they released an additional part of an interview that they had done with James Gunn, because this was even more. I think they had released an article, and then Rolling Stone released an article, and James Gunn's just been talking to anybody that will listen. Come on the show, James Gunn. We'll listen.
Certainly seems that way. Yeah.
We'll talk to you just exclusively about Peacemaker if you want. We got a lot of questions.
I'm waiting for that soundtrack. I'm looking forward to the music he's going to use in season 2.
Yeah. So before we get into some of the, I got an outline. But did anything stand out to you guys that you're like, I didn't know this, or like, oh, this sounds rad, or anything that you kind of want to talk about in the article? If not, we'll go through my list. But I wanted to open up to the floor first.
Just the Clayface news, because it's the latest stuff. Like, I'm excited that they're doing something with Clayface and it's standalone.
Yeah.
I think the thing that surprised me that I was not aware of, because I had not seen this ever mentioned before, is the idea that the Batman is in Elseworlds, and that's going to be a kind of like subset of the DCU. And I'm just curious, like, how are they going to label that? Like how are they going to clearly identify this is part of canonical DCU? This is not. And again, I just want to give props that it's Elseworlds and not another fucking multiverse. All right. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah. I don't think they need to explain it. I mean, because I think that we are, as an audience, trained to think, even no matter what you call it, that's just all vernacular, multiverse, Elseworlds, whatever. True. They don't have to interconnect. But I think most of us, because there's been multiple Batmen now, and none of them tether together, like the Michael Keatons and the Dark Knight stuff obviously are completely different Batmans and different universes, if you want to call it that.
We got them.
So yeah, I think people are just going to be like, this is Robert Pattinson's Batman. If James Gunn wants to add a Batman to his universe, I think we're all going to be like, superheroes are awesome.
Yeah,
I don't.
It'll give you an excuse to tell your aunt and explain to her how the Joker from Todd Phillips' movie is not in the same world as the Batman from Robert Pattinson. And it'll give you an excuse to call your aunt, like talk to her, check in on her. So like, it's probably for the best.
But this is my question though, because it is going to be the normies, no offense to us, who will be like, well, wait, why isn't Robert Pattinson's Batman in this, forthcoming Justice League movie or whatever, right? Like, it's because the MCU has trained us that everything is connected. And so if Gunn is going to pivot from that, I feel like there's going to have to be some kind of clear labeling or marketing or something to identify these are standalone, right? I don't know.
My hope is that it's like a drug commercial, like, so that you're seeing like Batman 2 starring Robert Pattinson. This movie is not affiliated with James Gunn's DC universe or any of the following properties. They just rattle off all the properties that it's not associated with.
Let me make a quick note. Josh believes the MCU ruined cinema. That's for the clips for later.
Okay, that's fair.
I
mean, I was kind of saying that, honestly. So
you and Scorsese, come on.
No, okay, hang on. It's not that it ruins cinema. It's that it built expectations that when you go into these universe movies, they're all interconnected, right? I mean, that was the brilliance of that first end credit scene in Iron Man.
Well, so let's talk about that, because James Gunn does address that in the interview. When it comes to Elseworlds, there are going to be, he mentions there's going to be very rare exceptions, right? Yeah. Feels like the Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman's already kind of grandfathered in.
Yep.
Yeah.
But for anything else, he's raising the bar to like, because he talked about no projects are going forward that don't have a script. And I think it really helps with like not over promising a Blade movie that never will come out.
Right.
But it also encourages people to like kind of settle their expectations, which I like. Right? It's he called it. I think he said somebody approached him about a project, like an A-list actor, who I would be very curious to figure out who it was.
Instead. Yeah.
And be like, well, I have this thing. We're like, is it a masterpiece? And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
If I had to go to work and turn in a masterpiece every day, you know. But yeah,
who do we think that is? I'm really curious.
It's The Rock with Black Adam too.
I heard it might be. I mean, that could be one. But I was thinking somebody said
Zachary Levi.
No. What's his name? He voices Rocket. I forgot his name.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper. Because that way it would give him a vehicle to maybe direct himself, right? And write and direct himself.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something that he wants. And Bradley Cooper is of an age where like he probably grew up watching some of these superheroes, I think, right? He's on that sweet spot. So like maybe he has an idea.
It could be the question.
Right. And also I guess
yeah.
That'd be cool. Oh man. Let us know in the comments who would Bradley Cooper play and what would his movie be about?
And if Bradley Cooper is watching this podcast, I think you should play the question, and whatever idea you have, assuming this is you, I hope it's the question.
We'll do a live reading of the script with you, Bradley.
I have it, I think. I think I've got it. What? Bradley Cooper as Adam Strange.
Oh,
like a big sci-fi epic.
You know, James Gunn did mention, I mean, he loves Tom King's work, and he mentioned that Strange Adventures is his favorite out of all the stuff.
Yeah. But if he didn't immediately greenlight it, right, then yeah.
Or maybe he's like, no, I want to do Strange Adventures.
Yeah. He does say there's one thing that he's like, I want to do this, right?
Oh, and that could be Strange Adventures. You're right. He did mention
that could be
a project.
Ooh,
that hasn't been announced, that it's his favorite thing.
We are getting Tom King's Mr. Miracle.
And I think it's JL8.
Supergirl.
JL8. JL8. Finally. Andy Serkis got a new gig.
He's playing the entire Justice League as apes.
And what was they're just gonna use the full cast from Matt Reeves' A Planet of the Apes movie.
Yeah.
Whatever that one was called.
It is related, but a total aside. I went down a weird rabbit hole looking at Tarzan movies.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I had never heard of the Bo Derek one. It just popped up in my news feed. And
Greystoke?
No. It was before Greystoke. It is Bo Derek's Tarzan the Ape Man. But she's the only one on the movie poster. And it was a disaster. Apparently, I've never seen it.
I vaguely remember this movie because I remember the title Tarzan the Ape Man.
It was right after 10. So her and her husband were riding high on her explosive overnight success. Anyway, but I looked up Greystoke because I remember seeing it on TV as a kid.
Yeah.
I did not realize that the apes in Greystoke were people in costumes. They were trained.
Really?
Yeah, and apparently I believe that it won awards because they were so convincing as these apes. So anyway, it's totally random.
Well, that movie probably failed because she after Bo Derek got successful, all of her projects were like, well, they have to be directed by John Derek.
John Derek,
yeah, because she was up for Dazzler and she wanted her husband to direct it, and Marvel was like,
no. Anyway, sorry to totally derail the conversation.
Weird side note. In the movie Gorillas in the Mist, Sigourney Weaver was played by a gorilla. So that's why that movie is so popular.
All right, I need you guys with all these tangents to
wrap it up.
Okay.
Excellent.
Nice.
We got new clips. Y'all don't even know. We got new clips.
I am so hyped.
Can I tell you something that bummed me out about that article? Sure.
We're all for
when he references, I don't know, maybe this was in the article. The flying controversy.
Oh, Yeah.
And he talks about how, well, it was kind of a composite shot that wasn't ready, that wasn't fit. Like there was all this like discourse back and forth on the internet about if it was AI generated because it looked weird. And people were like, no, that's just the frame rate and fisheye lens. And there was all this stuff. And then in the article, he's just like, well, it was a still image that we were using. And then we were kind of composited and the composite wasn't quite ready. And, we messed that one up. And I was just like, God, what? It's kind of weirdly disappointing retroactively to like go through all of that and then just be like, no, we messed up.
He talks about, I think this might have been in the video or maybe in the article. I don't remember because I watched both. I read them back to back, so I don't remember. Everything kind of commingled in my mind. But
yeah,
he talks about quality control of the marketing as well. Like he reviews all the trailers, but sometimes the TV spots kind of get away from him because those are a lot smaller and there's a lot more of those, right? So there could be some things that kind of just become out of his purview on that. But another thing that I found very interesting, and we can kind of skip around here on these things, and especially because when it comes to Superman, most of his previous movies had been a soundtrack that becomes a film. This movie doesn't really have a soundtrack. It just has a score, right? So there's not, I think he mentioned there's probably like no needle drops or maybe like 1 or 2 needle drops in the Batman and in the Superman film. Whereas in his previous films, Guardians and Suicide Squad and all that stuff, like it's full of needle drops that kind of drive the story. So this is he's trying something new, maybe new for him. Maybe new because the character calls for it. I guess it would be kind of weird to go into a Superman film like full of needle drops, right?
But I do also,
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
I mean, number one was timeless. So that was
timeless.
But I did also, so this wasn't in that exact article, but it was in, I don't know, something else this week as he's doing all these interviews and spots. I guess somebody asked him about Batman, and he said that's the one character he's nervous about trying to do because he said specifically, I can't see doing a campy, and I think what he meant was like Silver Age version of Batman, right? Yeah. And that heartened me because I feel like that's the thing he does really well, right? The Snyderverse is all grimdark. Like it's all very grimdark, and that's not Gunn's jam. And so I was interested in that. I will say the other thing that surprised me from the article that made me really, really, really happy because I've railed about this so many times on the podcast is when he says he's trying to be very thoughtful about the fact that as these things get tied together, he doesn't want it to feel like you have to see the stuff before to see the new stuff, right? So he's like, we set up season 2 of Peacemaker so you can jump into it without having seen Superman, but you'll get more out of it if you've seen Superman, right? Which is great. He's like, every episode has a previously in the DCU, and I'm like, that's what needs to be done, so.
Yeah. Can you imagine
I feel like
it started with that?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I feel like the MCU, like you can watch most of those MCU films though. I mean, there's 20 something of them. And I feel like 15, 16 of them you could watch on their own without having to watch anything else.
But
and there is stuff peppered through them where you get, again, more fulfillment if you have seen all that. But I could watch Captain Marvel and not have seen any other of them.
My big complaint where it turned me off was early on, right? And it was when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came back after its Christmas break. And in that Christmas break, Winter Soldier had come out. Yeah. And the thing was, I knew if I'd been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I knew that if I went into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it was going to spoil Winter Soldier for me, right? That's what I'm talking about. It's like, it's that kind of thing. Like,
oh, yeah.
When they reference something in
exactly. And then it ends up being a big spoiler for the movie you haven't seen yet, so.
I do. Yeah, it's clunky when they do that, and I think that I feel like they've also pulled back on that a little bit because that also happened with S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of Shield and Age of Ultron, where the helicarrier that pops up in Age of Ultron is referenced in Agents of Shield, and they have like one throwaway line. So if you've watched Agents of Shield, and that one line is for you in Age of Ultron, but it's such a dumb line. It's just like, I got a friend that I had called in a favor or whatever.
The Netflix shows like kind of refer to some of that stuff like vaguely, like, oh yeah, like the Battle of New York, or like somehow Brooklyn was fine after the Hulk, even though the Hulk fought the Abomination. So that's interesting. All right, I one of the other things I wanted to touch on is he mentioned there's more characters, but there are kind of 4 pillars that are characters that he's kind of building this world around. The first one's Superman, of course, which is movie, it's coming out soon. Then it's Supergirl, who the movie's shot, it's completely done. Then of course we have Batman, because that's the other more popular character, and then Wonder Woman, which there's stuff being worked on for her, but it seems like this is one of the ones that Gunn may be not struggling with, just like maybe taking a little bit more time, because Wonder Woman's probably going to be a pretty important part of the of that. So
yeah.
Well, I also wonder, because that's David Zaslav saying that. Like,
yeah, I know that.
So a lot of things I'm just like, but we got to remember this is from a corporate. Like, people say stuff and it doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just,
where's Harley on this? I feel like she was one of their most popular characters for years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to replace her.
Yeah. He has no clue that Pattinson's Batman is not part of this DCU. I could put money down on that.
He's just like, Batman is Batman. It's a superhero.
We have a Batman. That's all that matters. So.
He's the one you have. He's the uncle you have to call, like, and explain to him.
Exactly.
And he's like, what kind of tax write-off can I get off of this? That's what I want to know. Quit telling me about Elseworlds.
I already killed that Batman that was in that Batgirl movie, So
is this another Scooby-Doo?
I would make him release that film.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. I just want to see Brendan Fraser as Firefly.
Yeah, I bet you that's. I mean, just from the shots we saw of him like riding on a bus, shooting flames down the streets of Gotham, I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And those I mean, the guys that directed it, like they were kind of like on a hot streak at the time too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this even derailed their careers.
Yeah.
Like, imagine spending all this time working on a project and then it never sees the light of day.
Yeah.
I can't remember. God, I wish I could remember. It was some actress who, like, the question was like, hey, what's your favorite thing that you worked on? And she was like, I did 2 seasons of this show that has been shelved by Warner Brothers, and like you can't find it anywhere. That like, and she's like, I think it's one of those tax write-off things, so like they can't ever release it. It's not on DVD. It's not anywhere. And she goes, that was 2 years of a bunch of everybody's lives. Like, they were really proud of this work they've done, and they can't show it to anybody. There's no record of it ever existing. I mean, it's there. We know it's there, but it's just not. It's such a sad way to be like, we've created something and the corporate entity has put it behind. It's not even behind a paywall. It's just behind its shelf forever and ever and ever and ever.
And it hurts everyone's career that worked on it, because they can't use that in show reels. They can't use it. I mean, they could, I'm sure, put it on like a resume or a CV, but it can't reflect the work that they did. Right.
Right.
So it just,
and I don't even know, because of I mean, I have no idea what the legalities are. If you've shelved something for a tax write-off, can the director go in and try to buy it, from the thing back,
Well, I mean, Ketchup Media did that with Acme v. Coyote, so it must be possible, right?
Yeah.
And it just gotta outweigh the tax write-off value.
Yeah, probably.
And as a fan of lost media, at some point it'll be found and it'll be shown. So, like, The Day the Clown Cried has been a film that's been lost to history, but has shown up, and now, like, you can see the full version of it online.
Yeah.
So, or I don't know if you can see it online, but the full version exists.
So while we're not advocating for another Sony hack, if somebody out there wanted to hack Warner Brothers and
what should happen when corporations do that? They do it because it's a tax write-off, right? So
yeah,
to me, what that says is you're selling it to the government. So then we put that on PBS.
Hey, I like this. And in the Library of Congress. It has to go into both.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like
Nice.
it's never lost, right? If you're gonna use it
Yeah.
to like not pay money to the government, then the government should have it, and they can distribute it. Well,
That's 4D chess. You're thinking you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, as you're saying this, I'm thinking we're all taxpayers. Can we just demand they release?
oh yeah, we paid for that.
Yeah,
We paid for Batgirl.
that tax
That girl's is
Warner
ours.
Brothers got came from us.
That's right. Yeah, where's that tax? Where's that tax write-off? But like somebody's paying for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But that also
Instead
brings up the
of
question-
Doge
oh.
checks, we get 15 minutes of Batgirl,
Hold
and
on.
we all have to like.
We have a special message for that idea.
Good luck with that.
I like that.
Thanks, Clark.
But does it also
you're right.
create the scenario of people who are afraid to work for Warner Brothers because you might spend 2 years on a film that you can never show anyone?
I would make sure. I mean, obviously, if I was a director and I had a little bit of juice, I would write it into my contract that it's got to be released somewhere, somehow. And
Yeah.
oh, like like Christopher Nolan probably has it that his films have to be in theaters for so long and stuff like that.
Has to be
now
shown
I
in
do-
true IMAX, not the fake IMAX, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah, all that stuff. So, I think that's something that should happen. I mean, if you want to build that relationship back up with the talent, like you have to probably put some safeguards in place for them, which is a lot of what the strikes were about a lot of those safeguards that would protect the work, right, and the workers. So one other thing I thought it was pretty interesting was that the social media aspect of James Gunn. Like it's first of all, I gotta get on Threads because apparently that's the one place that this man uses the most.
Yeah.
Uh
I know it's the worst of the
Zuckerberg can eat a bag of dicks, so
It's-
don't
it's
use
other
anything
than-
meta.
It's still better than X. I mean, I gotta give it props there, but
that's not saying much though. I
Yeah,
think.
that's not saying
yeah,
that's
not saying much.
it's
You're
better
right.
than a pile of shit.
That's right. And trust me, we know piles of shit.
Actually,
here.
do I follow him on Threads? I'm gonna look him up.
But interestingly enough, like he said, the big giveaway of like how it's really him and not somebody handling his account is if you see a few things kind of fired off at like multiple things coming out simultaneously or whatever. Like if you see him kind of go on a 5-6 post tour, those are probably straight from him because he's got a little bit of downtime. So you can find Leonard Kim on Threads, so it can't be all bad.
Oh, hey,
I got to
I
talk
need
you
to-
guys out of quit using the Zuckerberg drugs.
hey,
Doesn't
I'm on all
benefit
of them,
anyone but
all
him.
right. I'm on Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Threads, so you can find me everywhere.
Danny, did you win the golden ticket? That Adventure Comics behind
Oh,
you
yeah.
that had the golden ticket giveaway?
Oh, is that what it? I was wondering why it was polybagged.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a ticket, and there's a
Oh.
potential golden ticket to the premiere of Superman.
Oh,
Open
no, I
that
haven't
up
opened it.
right
Maybe
now.
we'll open it later on in the show. Maybe see if I win.
As soon as Josh leaves, we're gonna open it up.
That's right. That way he won't be like, can I be your plus one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, by the end of the show, you need to pick your plus one out of us.
To
It's
quote my friend Clark here.
Good luck with that.
Pick your favorite child. Pick your favorite child.
Well, Danny, as you were so
Remember that
brilliantly saying before,
Remember that Deadpool comic I gave you? Remember that?
That's true. Well, let's wait till I win the ticket, then we can fight about it. Let's see what else we have. We have a lot of stuff happening. He talked about. Let me give you guys some updates on some of the projects, and then we can pick and choose from those. So of course, Supergirl, Women of Tomorrow, which I feel like they said they're going to change the title.
Yeah, I think it's only going to be Supergirl now, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Supergirl, which makes sense. I think sometimes movies with subtitles are like, especially the first one, like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, Supergirl is wrapped filming, so we should be. I wonder, we might see some stuff at Comic-Con, like maybe a little sizzle reel or something like that. I know that they're not going to to Comic-Con. Nobody's going to Comic-Con this year, apparently.
That's weird. Why? Oh, are you? Are
no,
you
like a lot of the big studios, they don't have like a big presentation. So interesting.
Josh, we're almost at war as a country, so
That's right. Also, they want San Diego. I mean, I think Comic-Con itself wants to pull out of San Diego, which I think that'd be cool. It should be like WrestleMania, where it goes like everywhere. Can you imagine?
But that place grew as the con grew. So I don't really think I know for sure Dallas doesn't have a facility that could handle Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. K-Band,
I mean, hell, it can
not big enough.
Barely.
I think what if the Cowboy stadiums could?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to give Jerry money?
They could.
Well,
they
no,
could
but I'm just
they could do like
the Radisson,
Cowboy Stadium, Globe Life Park, like both places, which are both air conditioned and indoors.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Do you want to have a convention in Texas in the summer?
Oh, that's right. You don't. You really don't.
All that cosplay, all that sweaty cosplay.
Yeah, it is. It is like Satan's taint here. It is the
worst. That's the forecast for today for sure.
It is. Yeah.
What if they have it in some place like big and desolate, like Terra Lingua? Like you have to drive 5 hours just to get there.
Black Mesa Desert.
It's like Coachella for nerds.
Yeah, it's like Burning Man for comic fans, right?
So also they talked about the Clayface project, which I'll talk about Mike Flanagan later on when we do our preview.
I didn't realize Flanagan was doing that.
Yeah,
That's I am already interested now.
It was an unexpected pitch that he received, and once they talked about it, it is described a lot, pretty much like a body horror film within the DCU. I think the substance was referenced and a few other things like that. But one of the things, and this was really interesting, Koi Jandru, who's in the showcase podcast, he's the comics guy, right? Like the big comics guy. They're comics correspondent, they call him. He asked if there were gonna be like hints at the Clayface being a little bit of commentary on like some of this AI fake stuff that we're seeing. And he said, yeah, there's a little bit of that in the film as well, which is, I think, very like Clayface is a very interesting character to do that with, because that's kind of a superpower, to fake stuff, right? Like he becomes other people. He's become Bruce Wayne in the past. He's become other people. So yeah, big shout. Yeah, Koi's a really, really great guy when it comes to comics, but I thought that was very interesting. I'm very excited. I like Mike Flanagan. Like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about his latest film, The Life of Chuck, the Stephen King adaptation. So that was cool. I really like that. And then the Green Lantern series, halfway through filming, David Lindelof's Green Lanterns, which my only downside to that is that we have no Kyle Renner in that project, and it makes me a little sad because that's my Green Lantern. And I know they can't cater to everyone because everyone has their own favorite character, but I feel like Kyle was like big in the 90s, and I feel like he should I think
here's
Kyle. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, clearly the Lantern series seems to be inspired by the 70s Green Arrow, Green Lantern, men trekking across the country sort of thing, which is great. And I saw someone online say they were a little bummed about the fact that if you're going to do a Green Lantern series, shouldn't it be like space opera, right? So what if they're reserving Kyle for that?
Oh,
right.
Yeah, like introduce us to the Green Lantern Corps and training and how you become a member.
That would be awesome, right? I mean, that'd be really awesome. So I don't know,
like a second season that maybe goes into space or something.
Oh, that'd be so cool. I would love Space Police.
Like maybe that's who they discover at the end of Lanterns.
Ooh, Kyle and Kilowog just show up at the end of the first season. Like, get in, cruisers.
I gotta see Nort. They gotta bring Nort in.
Oh, Nort would be awesome. Who's the bird-headed one?
Oh shit! Clert? I even have that action figure.
Clert? Is that right?
Let us know your favorite Green Lantern.
Is that the squirrel?
No, remember when Grant Morrison and Liam
Tomar
Sharp did
Reed.
one that was like a volcano?
Yeah, that was
pretty
good.
Cool. I need to go back and
I
read
liked that Grant Morrison run.
Yeah.
It kind of
they did
trailed off
cool
there.
thing with season 1, the Black Stars, and then season 2. That was great series. But I'm pretty excited. Kyle Chandler, I think, will play a great Hal Jordan.
He's gonna be
Aaron Pierre, Paul, John Stewart. Like that's just. He said they were talking about it in the podcast piece of it. Like Rebel Ridge. If you haven't seen Rebel Ridge, like you really need to check it out. Aaron Pierre Paul is just fantastic in that. Unfortunately, it's on Netflix. So if you don't have Netflix, I guess you can't watch it. Well, I guess you can watch it. You just have to take an alternate route.
Hit the high seas.
But yeah, it's really good. Like he's fantastic in that. And that was originally a John Boyega film that he had to drop out of because of other things. So
man.
I guess it all kind of worked out. Oh, interesting. I'm seeing some names here. What is it? What is this other thing?
Breaking news.
Probably some voice actors that because I saw somebody cast as Kilowog and I was like, hold on a second. I don't think that's our live action thing. But David Lindelof, he has a good track record when it comes to superhero properties, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Watchmen.
That Watchmen was fantastic.
And just TV in general, like The Leftover, Lost, like
Leftover season 1. That ending is so harsh. I could not watch the rest of it. He is polarizing in some of his choices, and you can even go back to Lost and them not really knowing how to end it.
Yeah.
And you realize in season 3 that they're just trying to pad.
So I think they had an end in mind. It was the middle stuff that they had to pad. Yeah, but I don't know. I really like The Leftovers. It is a really depressing show. I agree.
I really like it. It's very depressing.
So,
but I mean, it's got Carrie Coon's in it. And I just discovered that Carrie Coon is in the Gilded Age, and I think now I have to watch the Gilded Age.
Oh shit! I do like Carrie Coons. The first thing I know her from is the Ghostbusters. Like I don't think I'd seen.
That's wild. That's a wild thing.
I know. But there's a lot of prestige TV.
Thing.
Okay, I'm glad it's not just me. There's a lot of prestige TV that just passes by me, and I think that's where she was.
Well, next time you feel like you got a lot of happiness and you need to get rid of some, check out The Leftovers.
That never happens
she's Proxima Midnight in.
She is Proxima Midnight.
Okay,
right. Wait, in what?
In
Infinity War.
Infinity War and Endgame.
Endgame.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! All right, well, I got to go back and rewatch that now.
We got to go back. Oh, where's my gif of Jack saying we got to go back?
So there was a point in the interview that I wanted to ask you guys about, which is he gets asked, full stop, are there characters in Superman we don't know about yet? And he said yes. So I'm curious, who do you think we don't know is going to be in this yet? Like,
I think Supergirl's going to show up.
That makes sense. That 100% makes sense. Yeah.
Like somewhere. So there's just no way that she doesn't show up.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, cuz.
Yeah, like that. I'm off to space to play fantasy. I'm off to slay dragons in space. We need to do a show about that book itself before the movie comes out too.
Yeah,
just,
I haven't read that one.
Yeah. So it's great. What else? What are you guys thinking? What else? Who else do you guys?
I'm big on Frank Grillo. And so I love that he's brought Frank Grillo back as Rick Flag Sr. And that I hope he puts him in multiple movies. I would love to see the idea of where we have seen in the past characters get greeted by Nick Fury at the end of becoming part of the Avengers. What if Rick Flag Sr. shows up to the villains and brings them into the Suicide Squad each time? So it's not just a world of heroes, but we have, because DC has the better villains. Let's be honest. They have better villains than the MCU.
Yeah.
And the Suicide Squad could be a long ongoing series with great villains that maybe get disposed of in other films and have a chance to shine on their own.
So on that note, could Peacemaker show up in Superman?
Yes.
He did say that Peacemaker, like Superman, kind of
They're kind of
moves into
Like they're
tied-
pretty tied, yeah.
yeah, they're very tied in together. Or Amanda Waller, what's Amanda Waller up to, right? I know she got knocked out last season, but she's got to be
Captain
awake by
Carrot.
now.
What's Captain Carrot doing?
Oh man, look, if there is one director that I feel like would bring Captain Carrot into it, is full on James Gunn, right?
Yes. But we want live action. We want a live action one.
What if they have already cast somebody as Batman and they've just kept it under secret?
That would be
I think that is probably very likely.
Yeah.
Also, what about Blue Beetle? Like, we could see Blue Beetle pop up.
I would love to see Blue Beetle in this.
Yeah,
Man, that would,
or
because
Ted,
he's-
or both.
yeah,
I want to
'cause
see
he's-
Ted.
Oh god, that'd be amazing. Now, here's the thing as well. I wonder, since we are getting Hal, not Hal.
Well, we are
Guy
getting Hal.
Gardner.
Yeah,
We're getting Guy
Gardner,
Gardner, and we know
Yeah,
he
we
shows
have
up in Peacemaker.
3.
there are
What
3 lanterns
if-
available.
What if they have a scene that sets up why Hal and John are on Earth?
Because Guy's probably fucked.
Because
shit
Guy's
up.
here, so they don't
Yeah.
need these protectors on Earth, right?
It is
So
pretty
what-
weird that the Earth has so many lanterns.
I know. So I wonder if if they're using this to have little scenes peppered throughout to set up all these other projects, right? So,
All right, and now I'm going to show you guys that clip again that says "wrap it up," but look a little bit more at the second part. I can't pause it because this is StreamYard.
okay.
Wrap it up.
So that whoever shoots Superman, I think, I don't know if you guys have read. There was a comic from 2012 from the New 52 about of another Kryptonian that shows up called Hell. Yeah,
I vaguely remember seeing
I
covers and
don't-
stuff.
look up a picture.
I thought he confirmed in the interview that was his Ultraman.
Oh, is that just
Yeah,
him? Well, what if they? I feel like they kind of took. Well, it feels like they kind of took the design of Hell.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I'll show you a picture, because he has got long hair. But when I first saw that, I was like, "Who else has long hair that is friends with James Gunn?" But here, let me show you guys what Hell looks like. I don't know if you guys remember this
Whoa.
character from
Oh, I do
2012.
not. Wow.
He was like a Kryptonian that shows up years later, whatever. But
Does he know his cape is falling
Abs.
down?
that's how you wear them. It's all
Is it?
because in the 2012 the Kryptonian stuff was like nanotech armor
Oh, okay.
in this New 52 era. So that's just how he chose to
If
wear
that
it.
is Henry Cavill, I will lose my shit.
Oh,
that would
dude.
be the best surprise.
Would be really interesting.
If Ultraman is under the suit, is this Henry
Is
Cavill?
Henry Cavill?
Cavill.
That'd
Yeah,
be
like
amazing.
he explodes with the hair and the cape and everything, and it's that shot, but it's Henry Cavill.
Now, what if instead is somebody else with long hair, the main man, Lobo?
Oh fuck!
Oh,
See,
but
I
he
thought
doesn't have heat vision, does he? Like
No,
that's
not that guy. I just mean like as
Oh, I
people
got
that need
that, okay.
that show up.
Oh God,
You're
yeah,
right,
I'd
yeah.
love to see
Lobo
Lobo
was
in this
gonna-
movie.
I thought Lobo was going to be like
in the Supergirl film.
in the Supergirl film.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't. It sounds so. Just from the interview, it sounds like, because he says he wants the movie productions to be sort of like a comic book spinner rack. So everything is kind of tethered together, but it's not going to be so much that you're thinking Marvel Cinematic Universe, where everything is leading up to one major
Right.
story point.
Right.
But so that being said, I don't think what I would love to see is going to happen, but I would love to see some kind of post-credit stinger where Lex Luthor is like, well, I guess I got to start a Legion of Doom or something like that.
Where
You
he's
see that classic-
I hope they just reuse the scene from the end of the theatrical Justice League, but they removed
even
Casey
better.
Eisenberg and they
It's
put in Nicholas Hoult.
It's that scene from Super Friends. Like it's animated. It comes up out of the swamp. You know.
I guess it's
Yeah, I think in
Oh.
Justice League Unlimited, like at the end of the season 2 or something, they introduced that kind of version of the Legion, and it's this weird like twist where you're just like, I remember watching in real time. I was like, "Oh shit, they're doing it! They're doing it!" And I would love to have that kind of moment where you're like, and there's Gorilla Grodd, and there's Lex Luthor standing next to a gorilla, and you're like, "Yes."
Did you guys read Joe Kelly's run on Justice League? Because he did his version of Super Friends in the Justice League. He had he had an Apache chief like character I feel like has James Gunn teases. Like we've seen that one photo of like a shaman at a fire but with his back to the camera, and it was like a photo that he had put out. And I go,
that's
is
Michael Rooker's character in Peacemaker, isn't it?
Is it? No. I think that there's
because he does have some of that visual look that you're kind of describing.
Yeah, but like check out Joe Kelly. He did a run and he brought in like Black Lightning. Like he did all the the Super Friends in a Justice League book that's like a 12-issue run. And I would lose my shit if that's what he's adapting to the film for a Justice League film.
Can you imagine somebody like live action Inakcha and then growing up?
I just look. All I can think of is that one Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law episode where at the end they start their own Super Friends and it's like Apache Chief, Black Lightning, Jesse Jackson. Just every time.
Hold on a second.
Oh, I love it.
One of those things is not like the other.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I did find. I think I don't know if this is the picture you're talking about, Clay, but I did find because I remember seeing this. That's Michael Rooker's character in the Peacemaker, but I don't know exactly what it is. I'm sure other people have already figured it out. So
is he listed on IMDb? Like, does it have his character name?
He might be. I didn't want to go look because I also don't want to. One of the things about doing this stuff that we do is
we're spoiled
for a lot of things. So if I can, I won't go looking for spoilers. All right, let's close out.
I'll look for you. Hang on.
Other pillars that we talked about. He mentioned Matt Reeves is still working on the script for Batman 2, Electric Boogaloo. And it should be done. He said, I think should be done this month. Like the script itself, they'll review it and then whatever. Which is like, is he saying? And I feel like he was trying to defend Matt Reeves, but sometimes it also sounded like he was like, "Come on, Matt Reeves, hurry up! Like we're waiting, right?" Like when you get called out on the project, like who's working on it? Like, oh, this, Jeff's taking very meticulous, care to deliver this as soon as he possibly can. Well, like, does that mean that Jeff's not working on it fast enough, or that we're really giving Jeff enough time to work on it, right?
Jeff's really working on it.
Yeah. Does everyone here have a dream project to see through this James Gunn universe?
I got real hyped about that Strange Adventures we talked about earlier now, so I don't know.
But I mean, not that. Let's just say, because like we're seeing the beginning of a new universe, and the thing that that Marvel has done is said, well, we're just adapting the greatest stories that Marvel's ever done. We're doing, but with DC, he's gone after like Tom King and his stories and what he's done. I'd love to see a Matt Ryan Constantine return. I'd love to see a series that is dark and on Max and goes through all. I mean, Justice League Dark. Just all the crazy shit. What is it, Detective Chimp?
Mm-hmm. I've got one. I want James Gunn's DCU to explore Plastic Man.
Yes.
Right. I mean, who better to do it than him? So,
and it could be in that Plastic Man No More series that we just read recently.
Yeah, but it's so dark.
Like, but it's also like. But the contrast between it's really interesting.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's true. Yeah.
I always feel like you have to have that the character who is the brightest, the funniest. Eel O'Brien is a criminal beforehand, and to get to that Plastic Man, you may have to have a dark journey. But I would love to see him kind of overcome the darkness of whatever they drag his character through to become the Plastic Man hero that we've seen.
Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing, and I want to temper this by saying it has to be a series. It can't be a movie. I want a JLA based on the Giffen DeMatteis run, right? And we've got Guy Gardner already, right? You could throw Plastic Man into that. Like, just give me that JLA, right?
You got to have Booster and Beetle.
Absolutely, 100%.
And you got to have Fire and Ice.
And didn't he already announce they're going to do a Booster Beetle?
There is a Booster Gold TV show in the works.
Okay, so
although they didn't bring it up in either one of these things, I don't think.
And Bradley Cooper is a perfect casting for a Booster.
Oh, you're right.
I would be curious. Do we know what they are actually and are not working on?
Yeah,
there's been so many things that have been like in and out. My thing is also real quick. Sorry, I think that for somebody who's known for like needle drops, like that Starman, that James
that's
Robinson
my pick.
That's a good one.
I mean, and James Gunn seems like perfect. Like that. I mean, they basically seem like the same person. Like, honestly.
Do you guys think that James Gunn likes Chris Isaacs music?
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Which I only know from reading Starman.
But I would be curious if they do a Starman, if he is a fan of older stuff, older stuff by the 50s and 60s stuff that he was into when we read it when he was in the 90s, or will he be into 80s stuff? Because that age Starman, that Jack Knight would be kind of excited to a 25-year-old Starman excited to find 80s vinyl and just shit that we grew up with. I would kind of dig that.
I mean, he's the Gen Xer, so maybe he's got the same kind of timeline.
I feel like
space, it ties into the JSA, it ties into so many aspects, and I think that story could really, really just be like so fucking good on TV.
Yeah. All right, to answer Jeff's question from earlier, he did confirm that Sergeant Rock is still in development, but they don't have the script. They don't have it where they want it to be, right? We talked about the Wonder Woman project, which is also separate from that HBO Paradise Lost series in Themyscira. That's kind of like a Game of Thrones thing in Themyscira. And he mentioned that those two will be connected because that's where Diana's from in that way, but it won't. I don't think it'll be as direct. Is
Themyscira like a prequel in the same way Krypton was a prequel to Superman?
That's kind of what it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Can
I just put this out in the universe that I really, 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 really want for Sergeant Rock them to cast Bruce Campbell? Can we please just get that? That's all I want in the world.
Is he too old?
Is he too old? That's what I was gonna ask. And I don't want to.
He did fine in Ash versus Evil Dead.
Like, I really like the Daniel Craig rumors. That was really fun.
Oh, that's fun too.
And one thing that kind of stood out, and we can start kind of wrapping this part up so we can move on.
I think you're missing something on the DCU projects. I thought we had a Swamp Thing.
Well, they didn't talk about that, so I didn't put it on the list. But yeah, James Mangold was supposed to be working on a Swamp Thing, which I was really excited for. Maybe after Mangold's, maybe I'm gonna call it a stumble with the Indiana Jones thing, they maybe halted the brakes on that a little bit. But then he had the Bob Dylan film, and I was like, well, I really like that. So like, let James Mangold do whatever. Also, I haven't seen the Bruce Springsteen trailer. I'm also kind of excited about that. Like, all of a sudden, I love biopics again.
Am I the only one that liked that indie film? I did not mind it. I thought it was.
I liked it. It was better than Crystal Skull.
I mean, I liked it too. I just think overall it wasn't.
Yeah,
the bar's too high for a lot of these Disney projects.
Yeah,
but a Swamp Thing movie, I wouldn't hold the bar that high. Like Swamp Thing's, like, outside of the four of us, like maybe there's 10 other people that like Swamp Thing as much. I don't know. So
that DC series was so damn good, and if it wasn't for a financial glitch of taxes, we would have a season 2. Yeah. And it was, I thought it was dark, gritty. I thought it was really like what Alan Moore had.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm inspired here by Leonard Kim's comment, and it's in direct contrast to what you said earlier, Danny, which is if I just blanked in his name. What's his fuck's Clayface? Who's doing that?
Mike Flanagan?
Mike Flanagan. If Flanagan's Clayface is really good, what if they hand him a series of Hellblazer? Not Constantine, Hellblazer.
If he can give me an episode where Etrigan shows up.
Yes, and he speaks in rhyme.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. If not, why is he even talking?
Right.
If we ever see like the New Gods, will they have the Kirby effects?
Yeah.
Like Marvel.
You could straight up see Gunn being into that, right?
And Mitch Gerards has his little glitch thing in the Mr. Miracle series. So like,
yeah.
Well, and
were they supposed to? There was a Ava DuVernay New Gods.
Yeah, Tom
project,
King and Ava DuVernay were working on a New Gods movie.
I'm wondering where those. I mean, even though I'm sure they've been shelved for now, like those things are still property. I'm sure somebody could kick him around and be like,
I'll say
he's a
big fan of Tom King, so if he can, he talked about that. He mentioned like multiple books by Tom King that he's read. And I'm like, oh, my guy. I like you, James Gunn. That was
my guy.
he seems like a comic book guy for sure. But then he also he talked about it. Like he's a creative guy. Peter Safran is the business dude.
Yeah.
So they I think as co-heads of the studio. So.
In the video, he mentions that he was reading the new Justice League Unlimited series by Mark Waid and Dan Mora.
Yeah. He might be the one that actually maybe respects a little bit more of the comic book creators and like gets them a little bit more involved, similar to like say what you will, but Ryan Otley is now like almost an executive producer on that Invincible show. He's super deep into it, so like that's the level of that these guys that are creating this stuff should be treated. Like get them involved in your other projects.
And I'm glad DC has that person finally. Like it's taken them decades to get there. And Kevin Feige, over at Marvel, like does the same thing. Like you can tell just from all his interviews, like he reads comics, like he knows his shit. He knows who these creators are. Disney may not give them the proper props that they deserve, and may not, whatever. But Kevin Feige certainly does. So,
do you think? Sorry. Well, I was gonna say, do you think James Gunn has a shop he just goes to on Wednesday to get his books?
I'm sure his assistant goes for him.
That's kind of what I figured, but
what is in James Gunn's pull list?
Oh man, it'd be amazing.
We need to put
I would be like, will you please just send me the comps? Like
well, he probably just calls Jim Lee.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, can you send me this week's stuff?
That was a cool little tidbit in the video clip, is you find out that they're from the same small town.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
but he did say Jim's a lot older. Like he was making fun. They're not that old. That he just made a little joke about that. He joked about his hair. He even had somebody, one of the panelists, like pull on it because people say that it's a wig.
Also,
so probably disprove that.
At the beginning of that video, like the question was asked, "What would you do if you had Superman's powers for 1 hour?"
Oh yeah.
And nobody said that they would test to see if they could go back in time. And
feels like a waste of time.
If you have Superman's power for 1 hour, you can just keep going back in time and keep doing stuff. You would undo everything you just did, but
God, there's so many things to undo at this point.
Yeah, can't go back far enough. All right, I have one more clip and then we'll wrap it up here. So think about anything that you want to talk about before we wrap this up, or anything else that we didn't cover. I love that the teeth bounce on the camera.
I know.
Noise. Clink.
Clink. That's awesome.
That poor guy. Any last bits on this? I mean, it's like I said, it's a lot. Go ahead, Clay.
I think the thing that's going to make DC successful with Gunn is he is not just sticking to like superheroes. He has he goes into like horror. I think Creature Commandos is a good example of that. And look at his filmography, like films like Slither and stuff like that. Like, I think we're going to see a range of films because DC has such a deep volume of characters, but really villains.
Yeah.
I mean, and we've seen Penguin's been successful enough that we want to do a Clayface. I mean, he could do a whole rogues gallery of Batman characters in that world that I think would be successful. But I really am curious if we get a successful Sergeant Rock, would we get a haunted tank, an unknown soldier? Like, it would be wild to get like horror-based war films after
and
Sergeant Rock.
The other cool thing is that they talked about it on the podcast video. He said Peacemakers and everything. Like, he's reading Absolute Superman and knows that the Peacemakers show up there. So it's like, he's like, I did that. Like, so, you know, somebody mentioned like, you did that. He's like, yeah, I did that. Like, so any character that comes to the screen that becomes popular like that, it's gonna have that ripple down effect into the comics, which is cool. Like, because if you're using these more obscure characters, then we'll get some of those maybe brought to more relevance. So I'm very excited for that.
What I do enjoy is that he's, because Marvel was all like big story. They kind of pigeonholed themselves into a back corner. Like, they cornered themselves, very successful corner. But whenever they try to pivot out of something that's different than what they've been doing, it gets backlash. It's not loved as much. DC, James Gunn gets to start from scratch, where he's like, here's Superman. Then we also have this animated Creature Commandos. Then we also have the Clayface that's going to be a horror movie.
Like, oh, this was successful before, I'm going to keep that, right? He gets to pick like what he allows back in, and then go from there. Yeah.
Well, but you're also training your audience to be like, DC Film Studios isn't all going to be just straight up big blockbuster superhero stuff. It's more like an actual
it's not
film
one
studio
big summer event. It's
different.
The thing maybe some type of connect.
I think also, and this kind of bounces off all your points, I think he's also learning from what the MCU has done well and poorly. And I think, like, to Clay's point, I think having different tone and approaches in a lot of different projects is counter to, you know, anytime a new big MCU film comes out, it's always like, oh, it follows the formula. Right. And I think it's like, we need to get away from that, because I would also say, and you're right, Jeff, that I think when they try in the MCU to pivot to something else, there tends to be backlash. I think a lot of the most successful stuff that they've done in the past 5 years have been the weirdo stuff. Werewolf by Night, you know, WandaVision, you know, when they
even Thunderbolts is very different from what they have been doing.
Exactly. Those tend to be the best stuff, right? When it doesn't follow the formula. And I think, and so I'll even say, I'm kind of curious. I'm just going to put this out there. I think Gunn may not have an end credit scene in Superman. I think he's going to say, like, one way that we stand out is by not doing an end credit scene. We put all the end credit stuff into the film proper.
Yes. It's all part of the film.
Right? So
this is just like a fun thing, like a mid kind of funny, like whatever. Or like a mid-credit scene. Like, I'm not arguing for or against whatever, but I do think that he would be like. But he also seems to be the kind of guy that puts the cast singing along to "You Build Me a Buttercup" kind of thing in the credits as they roll, kind of thing.
Yeah, true.
Which I would love to see, honestly.
Is Leonard Kim talking about comics? I missed that.
Oh, he's talking about the
I think the
Marvel pivots.
Yeah.
Like if the cast of Superman were singing "Pocket Full of Kryptonite" as the credits rolled, I would be so happy.
Yeah.
Now I do kind of want that. Yeah, that's good.
Put that Three Doors Down song at the end of the film.
Not the Smallville theme song.
No, that's a separate universe. That's an Elseworld story.
It's just a needle drop for a fun reference.
I would, you know, it would be funny if during the end credits he just brought in all the former Superman actors to comment about what they thought of the film. Right? So there's like Tom Welling being like, it was fine, you know, or
but not all of them. Just some.
Not all of them.
You know, you know.
We're talking about the Bizarro Superman, Dean Cain.
All right. Let's see. Is that everything on there? I think we covered a lot. So
Yeah. I think the thing, I mean, it's just the hype is real. I'm excited.
I'm
DC
excited.
has such a rich history of like great stories. We don't need to see Crisis again. Just tell us the great stories that have been written. And by hiring Tom King like that, I think we know some of the stories that are coming. But I think the best thing is not knowing what's coming.
Give us a 0 hour.
Oh shit!
Oh man, if Guy Gardner's arm just turns into a gun.
Guy Gardner Warrior.
All right.
Now
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
That was the last clip. Sorry, Josh. I cut you off. I'm doing this for you. You're the one that way you can leave it as needed. But anything, if you, the viewer, are watching this later on, have any other thoughts on any of this or anything that we didn't talk about, let us know. I think for next week we're doing a special show that Jeff planned, but we should have a little segment where we put together James Gunn's pull list. So maybe pick 3 or 4 things that you would think James Gunn would have on his pull list from current stuff. So get on that League of Comics and just browse around. All right, moving on to our previously on segment where we talk about all the stuff we've been watching and reading and listening to or playing. Sometimes some of us play stuff. I don't play around. Last week,
I don't play
because it was really, really cool. Speaking of Mike Flanagan, I went Sunday morning at 9 because apparently this movie is not playing a lot of places. I went to watch Life of Chuck. There's a new Mike Flanagan's movie with Tom Hiddleston. Are any of you guys familiar with the novella? I think it's a novella.
No.
Let me tell you, it's a really good movie. Like,
awesome.
It is entertaining. It looks great. It's a little sad some places. It's a little I'm not gonna say horror, but like Mike Flanagan does have a little tinge of there's a looming thing happening. I don't want to give anything away because then I'm not gonna say it's gonna ruin the movie, but it really caught me by surprise because I didn't know what to expect. Right, the marketing really centers around that Tom Hiddleston kind of dancing through the town square, so I didn't know what to expect from this film. But it's really, really great. It's got a great cast. I have a full review for it on the channel that I dropped sometime this week, I think. But I came out of that film thinking we should just let Mike Flanagan adapt all the Stephen King stuff. Just let him do it. I know there's been great adaptations before. I love that, especially for the non-horror stuff. Like Shawshank Redemption is great. The Green Mile, I think it's just
Stand by Me.
It's really good. Stand by Me. I mean, that one's, if you're a kid, that one's kind of scary.
Right.
Stand by Me is the best adaptation of Stephen King, and I put that above Misery.
Shawshank?
Oh, interesting.
I put it above Shawshank.
Wow.
We'll have to
The
save
Langoliers?
we'll have to save it for our
Mr.
tier list.
Toomey, Mr. Toomey.
There you go. That might be our tier list show that you were asking about, Clay. Maybe a Stephen King tier show.
Yeah.
Because there are 2 adaptations of Trucks, Maximum Overdrive and Trucks.
Oh, yeah.
So do you
There's
vote down Stephen King directed his own film?
Multiple Lawnmower Men.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. There's another adaptation of Lawnmower Man?
Well, there's a sequel to Lawnmower Men.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the original sequel was supposed to be a Grant Morrison script.
Yeah. But instead, it was a riding mower.
Said it was John Deere.
Very King of the Hill. Wow.
I saw Lawnmower Man in the theater, and if I could,
Me too.
if I was Superman, could go back.
Josh will not watch Jaws in the theater, but Lawnmower Man, let's do it. Okay.
He's not afraid of being attacked by a lawnmower.
In preparation for 28 years later, I rewatched Danny Boyle's and Alex Garland's 28 Days Later yesterday. It's on Pluto TV, so you can watch it. You'll have a few ads.
Never seen that?
there. Huh?
No.
I've seen it before, but I
haven't though. I've just
Josh
never
never seen it.
gotten.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it either. Oh, interesting. Are you guys?
I'm not big on zombie things.
Yeah, me either.
Oh, but it's so good.
I
Like
love the
it's
zombies.
These are fat
it's
zombies,
non-traditional zombies.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is like when you realize that it doesn't take much to turn you, like you don't just have the guy who hides his bite for a long time, they just take a machete to you. Like like that is the amazing part. And the woman it is the one that plays Moneypenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moneypenny in the last James Bond series.
Oh.
And I will say, if you this film was all shot with like digital video cameras, so for the most part, I think like the last sequence is shot on 35 millimeter. But it was
Christopher,
weird seeing it on a TV that is supposed. I mean, because I have 4K TV, so like it was seeing it there because they've never gone back and done like
Upgrade.
an update or anything, which I think it's fine. I think it would actually compromise the film. But this new film was all shot on iPhones.
Oh wow. Huh.
And stuff. Like, have you seen the rigs? It's not just like me running around. Yeah, exactly. But I think Danny Boyle wanted to kind of capture that same feeling, but obviously later on, it's really great.
If they still have old cameras, he could have recaptured it just by using an old camera.
I still have my video camera, like somewhere I have access to it. I know exactly where it is if I needed to go shoot something guerrilla style.
Huh.
Like, so, but it's great. Yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully I can go watch 28 years later soon, which is the start of another trilogy apparently. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird that it's like overlapping trilogies. Did you talk about 28 Weeks Later?
No, because I've seen that before, but I don't remember it, and I don't think I'm gonna go watch that because that's not a Danny Boyle. So I feel
really? But that opening scene is like one of the best opening scenes of or really of any zombie film.
Oh,
is
okay.
Robert Carlyle and a few survivors in the middle of like a English, I don't know, countryside, and everything's boarded up, but they're like trying to have a meal, and Robert Carlyle running for his life in total fear of just zombies coming after him and just tears, and he's just terrified. And oh my God, it's so fucking good. And then you also have what's his name? Hawkeye.
Oh, Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner is the helicopter pilot doing the tilt and just taking out with the helicopter tons of zombies. It's still pretty good.
It's been a while. I just didn't have time. I guess if I don't go watch 28 Days Later today, maybe I'll try to do that.
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about rewatching it, just not before the film, because like I said, it's not a Danny Boyle directed one. So I was like, maybe he won't. I feel like he would because both Alex Garland and Danny Boyle are back for this new one. So I feel like they would just probably, if they're gonna reference anything, it would probably be from the first one.
Yeah,
that they created. Also watch The Amateur. It's I forget his name now. He was Mr. Robot.
Shit.
But Rachel Brosnahan is in this movie as well.
Oh.
She's
Christian Slater?
Yes. No. not that one.
No.
The main Mr. Robot.
Jesus. Oh God.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, it's right in the tip of my tongue.
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek.
That's it. Thank you.
Son of a bitch.
We didn't have to Google it. See, back in the days, we didn't have to Google stuff, kids, and we just knew stuff.
Or you argued.
I'm trying to go back to that because Google is a total failure.
Yeah, especially that AI overview at the top.
I hate
But
I
yeah,
just
Rami
yell out
Malek,
my window and get a better answer.
It's this film is interesting because it's like his wife is killed in an incident, and he's going after the terrorists that did it, but he's just like a data analyst. So, okay, and Josh, let me let you get in on your thing, and then you can, if you want to bounce after that, and then I'll close out with my other things. No, you're fine. I didn't realize. I saw the time and I was counting it, but I didn't realize.
I've just got two short, incredibly random things. One is my wife and I. She discovered this. We started watching Landman on Paramount.
Yeah,
Billy Bob Thornton.
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore and John Hamm.
And a bunch of land.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because my wife inherited some land in West Texas, and she's always getting these calls from basically like landmen, like trying to buy the mineral rights from it. And so that was our like weird, like circuitous way into this show. I had never watched a Taylor Sheridan thing. I'd never watched Yellowstone or the prequels or anything. It's really good. I'm not a big fan of the way that it's filmed, but the other thing that stood out to me is it's apparently based on a Texas monthly, and I remember when this came out, a podcast series they did called Boomtown. And so yeah, it's good. We're only 2 in so far. I think it's like 10 episodes. But just kind of an intriguing, very dark look at what it is like to be in Midland during this like oil boom. So that's one thing. The other thing, I guarantee none of you are expecting this. I didn't put it in the notes, but I have gone back down the rabbit hole because I realized I hadn't seen any of the later seasons of this. I'm a huge fan of Absolutely Fabulous. And so I've been rewatching the first 3 seasons, which I've seen many times and owned for years and years and years. I did not realize that Jennifer Saunders brought it back for seasons 4 and 5. So I just bought cheap copies of those, ripped those to my Plex server so I get to watch those. And everything's leading up to, I finally got a copy of the movie. So I'm just planning over the next few weeks, just rewatch seasons 1 through 3. I'm like halfway through season 2 right now of Ab Fab. Watch the seasons I missed and then watch the movie, which I haven't ever seen. This is funny because I'm the only one in my house that likes Ab Fab, so I'm just watching it alone.
You may be the only one in this county.
I could be.
I'm a fan.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
glad
but
I've seen a few episodes.
You live in a different county, Clay.
True. I love Ab Fab. It's so. If you've never seen it, go check it out. It is so hilarious.
I just have a quick question. Can we dig for oil on your wife's land or water wells?
We have to talk to her about that.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think we could be sitting on some potential. I will
say though, if you watch this show, you're not going to want to get anywhere near an oil well. So let me just say that. But anyway, but yeah,
I've seen There Will Be Blood. I'm good with it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
But
let us know next week how you did on your quest.
I will do. And yeah, please, today is free RPG day. So after the show, get out to your local game store and hopefully they have some free RPGs for you. So
all right.
Let's
see if we won that movie ticket.
Yeah, and then tell me if you did. I won't try and horn my way in. I just want to know if you won.
She's like, I won't go back and watch the rest of the show. Just tell me.
Just drop it in the server.
I'll look at it. Fine.
Okay. Bye,
Jack. See you guys later.
See ya.
This guy,
Wrap it up.
All right, let me finish up my watches here. Yeah, so The Amateur, it's a fun movie. I don't know if I think I enjoyed it because I watched it at home. It would have been kind of a pain at the theater because it took a minute to build up to what it was. And then Netflix got me again. They put on their thing like leaving soon. What is it? Ocean's 11? No, I might as well watch that. And then
that's a good one.
The next day, so like I've watched Ocean's 12, and I'll probably end up watching Ocean's 13 like sometime this weekend. So I'm back on that. I love those films. I think it might be my favorite trilogy of movies ever, and this includes the Dark Knight trilogy.
Lord of the Rings.
I love those films. Like they are so rewatchable and they're so much fun. Like I just have a good time every time. Like every time I'm watching, like they get more ridiculous too as they kind of build. Like the third one is insane bananas. I mean, when you got Al Pacino there as your main villain, yeah.
Does Star Wars no longer count as a trilogy since it's whatever 9 movies are?
Even if you just wanted to. Even if I put it up against any of the trilogies in Star Wars, I would still prefer Ocean's 11 because I'm not the biggest fan of Return of the Jedi. I'm not the biggest fan of the Attack of the Clones, Attack of the Clones, and I'm not the biggest fan of the Rise of Skywalker. So like each one of those trilogies has a film that out of the Ocean's films, the Soderbergh films, like I like all of them probably about the same. Like the first one's probably my favorite, but the other two are right behind it on its heels. Yeah, they're just a lot of fun. I don't know how we can't do that anymore. I feel like I don't think that those movies can be made anymore. They tried again with the Ocean's 8, and as much as I enjoy the film, it's not the same. It doesn't capture that same kind of like energy.
Yeah.
So which I was excited for the Margot Robbie Ryan Gosling prequel, like about Danny's parents or something like that. But I don't know what happened to that. I haven't heard anything about that anymore. But
I didn't even
I'll
know
be
that was a
into that.
thing.
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah,
either.
yeah. Which is cool because they
Oceans
can use
2? Is that what it would be called, I guess?
yeah. Well,
Ocean's
no,
1.
because they can use like Matt Damon's parents in the film, like they're also thieves, right? So like they could play they could find younger versions of themselves.
What if it was like a version of Look Who's Talking? So there's like a baby Danny Ocean, but it's still voiced by George Clooney. Like the baby,
And he meets a baby Rusty.
yeah. Who's always like eating something. They're like,
yeah. And unfortunately,
baby Ocean's 11.
Unfortunately, we can't do a baby Frank because the actor has passed. But yeah, that'd be great. We could get his friend Cedric the Entertainer to voice him instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love those films. I don't know, they're ridiculous, they're insane. So, all right, let me throw it up now, Clay. I know you don't have anything on the notes specifically, but did you have anything you want to talk about watches?
I've it's weird because I just noticed this. I've been watching Duster and I've been watching Poker Face.
Yes.
Poker Face, which is also weird because it's like you have a J.J. Abrams show and a Ryan Johnson show about people research, detectives and crime and all that stuff. And it's like funny because they also had competing I say competing Star Wars films because they had competing ideas in them, even though they were sequels. So it's neat. It's interesting to see them. But Duster is just so interesting in its choices because not this last episode, but I think it's the 5th episode. I would tag probably one of the best episodes of TV this year.
Is it the one that started with the Looney Tunes?
No, it's the one that ends with
Nixon, right?
It's the one that ends with him driving through the neighborhood and everyone's doing fireworks.
Yeah. That's the one that starts with the CGI Nixon.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah,
it was just really, really good. I've just started Poker Face, so I'm only like 5 episodes in.
So you're watching the first season of Poker Face.
Yeah.
You're from the beginning. Okay.
Yeah,
I love Duster. I haven't watched this week's, but I love Duster.
I haven't either. Yeah, it's really, really good. And oh man, just every actor, like it's got the look, it's got a cool intro that teases something that's going to be in the film or in the episode. But Poker Face is like a fucking movie. Each episode is like a standalone movie. The story's so good. So it's like having both of these is fantastic. I love
a crime story. So
yeah. And then the guest stars are always great. And then you got Benjamin Bratt chasing down Charlie. So it's like when he showed up, like the last episode I watched was the one with Little Rel, the barbecue episode. And and so there's a great shot with Charlie. And then as she moves, like Benjamin Bratt's right behind her, like because he's chasing her the whole show, or the whole season, I guess.
There's just something about having a cool car in your show.
Both cars are fucking cool as hell.
It just gets me. Like I'm not even a car guy, but like I appreciate a cool car.
Yeah. The Duster was interesting because in researching it, they wanted to get the Looney Tunes Tasmanian Devil logo on it, and Warner Brothers wouldn't give it up, so they created that Duster, that we see on there. That logo, a guy created that to replace that.
Oh, nice.
The only other thing I've been playing Fortnite as Hank Hill because I got the Hank Hill skin, so it's just fun to go around killing people as Hank Hill.
Are you looking forward to the reboot?
Very much so. I'm super excited. I've already seen like the new intro, a couple of teases. They dropped a teaser on Father's Day, and we know that Hank goes to Saudi Arabia to work, but comes back and moves into his old house. And so he's kind of been out of the country for a while, and now he's moving back with his friends. Bobby's a chef in Dallas, and just everyone's kind of grown up. So I'm super hyped for it. I love everything Mike Judge does, so I'm on board.
Last question, and I'll let Jeff chime in on his stuff. Did you finish that Common Side Effects show that
No, not yet. Yeah,
okay.
Because it's one that Shelby and I have to sit down together and watch. So it's like,
gotcha. Okay. I wanted to see kind of how that wrapped up, because I think they're doing another season, if I'm not mistaken, of Common Side Effects.
I think so. And I know Britt from Comic Book Club has posted in chat that he said that he's finished it, and he says it's like amazing. It's one of the best shows on TV.
Yeah.
But
it's a great premise. I'm looking forward to Hank King of the Hill, because I mean, I think in the timeline of it, Bobby's a millennial, so like it's interesting to see like how that's gonna play out in the show, and I've seen a few clips and stuff like that.
He was a 90s kid.
Yeah. I am Bobby. Bobby is me.
You are Bobby.
Let go of my purse.
Hey.
I don't know you.
I don't know you. All right.
This flower is a Wilton.
Oh man, that's one of the. I want a crossover of that episode of when they go to the Dauterives in Louisiana, and then also when they go to see the Angelus family from Preacher. Like those two families, I feel like they live next to each other. Like they each live in their own little plantations in Louisiana, right?
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, why don't you class up this joint a little bit with what you've been watching?
I've been flipping through the Roku channels. Last night I came across, after watching Jaws on NBC last night, flipping through, I came across Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, which is a 4-hour, I think it's like 4 hours, word for word Hamlet. Like it is the play Hamlet just on film. All-star cast, incredible costuming. I remember going to see it in theaters when it came out. It had a little intermission that went along with it because it was so long.
Yeah.
The VHS is a 2-cassette thing, big monster thing.
Big tape. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of it because it's Shakespeare and boring. But
you know how it ends.
I know how it ends. But it is fun to watch because it's like an all-star cast, like an amazing cast that is in that movie, and you're just watching them do Shakespeare. I also watched
the Shakespeare movies. Out of his is which one's the one I like the most? Much Ado About Nothing.
Much Ado is fun.
It's the one I like because he's done a few.
Have you ever seen the Joss Whedon Much Ado About Nothing?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
That's an interesting. That he filmed it during and I know he's Joss Whedon, but he filmed it during like one of the early writer's strikes, I think it was, or I forget what it is. But it's just a black and white film around his house, so it's just basically all his friends. So Nathan Fillion is in it, Felicia Day, like just people that he's worked with forever.
Yeah, his friends are different than your friends, like
So I watched that. I was also flipping through. I caught an old episode of Magnum PI that randomly had Chuck Mangione in it, just like Magnum's trying to. Yeah, speaking of King of Hill, Magnum's trying to solve a mystery. The trumpet player might know something. The trumpet player just happens to be Chuck Mangione. Also, I watched on YouTube. There was a Hollywood Reporter comedic actors roundtable that they put out, and it had Adam Brody, Jason Segel, John Mulaney, Julio Torres, Seth Rogen, and Ted Danson as members of the roundtable. It's fascinating because Julio Torres is such a Gen Zer. Yeah. I don't want to be part of your society kind of like he's like all of them are like now in the business across the board. So like even the guys that are like, Seth Rogen and Jason Segel and John Mulaney, who kind of seem counterculture-y a little bit, they still are like, oh, but we all have credit cards and we all have like, things that get us through that. Julio Torres has none of that. He's like, I don't believe in credit cards. He goes, I have a debit card, like I have a bank account. I just don't believe in. Why do I have to go into debt for anybody? And he's like, and he has like these kind of like complete socialistic kind of like views of the world. And you see all the other actors across the board just being like, I can't even wrap my head around how you're thinking,
Ted
your
Danson
way of
just left.
thinking.
He just left.
Yeah, Ted Danson's like, I don't even know.
I don't need this. I'll give you Woody's number, but I don't need this.
Right. It was really interesting. I had a lot of fun watching that. That was probably the thing I had the most fun watching.
Yeah, some of those roundtables are fun and they're interesting, and it's like they really just kind of let loose. It feels like I've been watching a lot of clips of the Amy Poehler podcast. I don't watch the full episodes, but just clips.
Yeah,
I watched the full podcast. It's really good.
Good hand.
And I went on a deep dive of all the Dakota Johnson interviews that she's been doing for Materialist.
So good. I need to watch that movie too.
I passed on the Dakota Johnson one though, so I just even her hot ones too.
I love Dakota Johnson.
I also find
I would hang out with her in a second, not just because she's gorgeous and everything, but she's so weird and like whatever.
She definitely seems like a good hang. Amy Poehler made a good choice. And she brought her dog too to the studio.
Oh,
like when you can call out Ellen to her face, like I'm like, you're a good time.
Yeah,
those are good points. Yeah.
She showed us what a piece of garbage Ellen was.
Yeah,
allegedly. I don't know if I need to cover my ass. Okay,
you want me to roll into comics that I've read though?
Roll into comics. I'll jump along, and then we'll open the golden ticket and get the hell out of here.
All right,
I'm going to see Superman.
It's Jeff the Land Shark, probably my favorite comic of the week, honestly. It's by Kelly Thompson and I don't know, Tokoro. I am sorry. I apologize. Try that again.
Sorry for the quick tangent. Did you see that they released that in that Marvel crossover? They're gonna have backup stories. One's gonna be done by Kevin Smith, the Daredevil Green Arrow one. Like there's gonna be
I haven't seen this yet. I haven't seen these announcements yet.
I saw the Marco Cicchetto, who was the artist on Daredevil for a long time, put out a cover, and then they announced that, and they also have a backup story for this crossover.
Oh my god!
Jeff the Land Shark and Crypto. That looks so cool. I love
who that's gonna be by.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. Those one shots are gonna be insane bananas, and I can't wait.
Well, speaking of,
hopefully DC will have them available because Marvel's still not. Yeah.
Crypto also came out this week.
Came out this week. Yep.
It's really a great cover.
Yeah, Jay Lee really knocked it out on there. And there's like just look at that good boy.
Oh,
so
I still love that. Like in the word, so Crypto does not speak or think or anything. He's just dog, sort of like Pizza Dog. But they kind of use the same thing in that Hawkeye, where like the words that he doesn't listen to, that like so that when the humans are talking not to Crypto, they're kind of grayed out.
Yeah.
But whenever they're talking specifically to Crypto or Crypto's name,
or whenever he understands whenever
he understands, those are super dark in text. So it's really interesting how they're kind
Great job. Lucas Gattoni really nailed it on the lettering. I talked about that on my review. Good.
Yeah. Also, I love there's like a little dog tag in the O right there.
Oh, neat.
Ultimates, the latest issue of Ultimates, killer ending. Love the ending of this book.
This is a
cliffhanger
on Revelation, and I think there's a cover that's a little bit more spoilery. I didn't pick up the main cover because I will say I was not a big fan of that one, so I picked up this cover. But there's another cover that it gives you. So in the normal universe, the Iron Lad becomes Kang eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So in this universe, it is Tony Stark, but he goes by Iron Lad. His dad was Iron Man. So I'm starting to think there's a cover that hints at him becoming like a Kang, and I think this issue reveals a little bit of that.
Yeah.
The
latest issue of Battle Beast. Love the cover texture. I don't know what this cover is, but
it feels weird, right?
Yeah.
It's not the polybag I don't know. It's the bloody. I think Ryan Audley must run out of red ink.
It's a great issue. Super fun comic. I did not. I was like, I'm not gonna get. Initially when it came out, I'm like, I'm not gonna get suckered into another whatever. Not that Invincible is bad or anything. I'm just like, it's been so long. I don't want to.
Yeah,
But I love it. It's really
and
fun.
we do have these on box, Clay. We just get them a little late because
Okay.
Skybound sent stuff late, but
it is worth the read. I think it's definitely worth the read.
I agree.
The latest issue of Exquisite Corpses. Fun, good stuff. People killing each other in a small town.
And
The latest.
I'll have a video where I open up this one later on.
Ooh,
Those
two golden tickets in one.
The trading. These are for the trading cards.
The latest issue of Wonder Woman, which is fun.
Where they introduce a new character called Mouse Man.
Mouse Man, he can grow mice to big sizes.
I love Kaylin Yarsky's work, so I was glad to see her on this.
Yeah, the artwork was great. The newest issue of World's Finest, where Perry White and Jim Gordon go on a podcast hosted by Joe Rogan-ish kind of character.
So the crossover is over, right? Because I'm behind on that series.
The crossover is not over, but it's over. Like I guess it's just got the Justice League part left. So
okay, so it's done in World's Finest.
Yeah. World's Finest has moved on. The newest Absolute Flash number 4. We get to introduce to Ralph Dibny. Yay.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
G.I. Joe. This G.I. Joe is still fun and kicking. I've heard rumors that it's going to just keep getting bigger and better, and they're adding a whole bunch of new stuff to it upcoming. And then the last thing I've read, I've got more stuff that I've not gotten to yet, is this last issue of Aliens versus Avengers, which ended a little bit abruptly for me, but still super cool.
I love this series. It's really, really cool. We have videos for every issue, and then I have a breakdown of the first one. I might do a thing where we just talk about the whole thing, but it's really cool. I like this a lot. Even as ridiculous as it gets with Sinister's t-shirt cannon that shoots out xenomorphs.
There are a lot of great moments in this comic.
Yeah.
In that comic, yeah.
Cool.
T-shirt cannon, alien t-shirt cannon being one of my favorite, honestly.
All right, let me finish up with my comics. There's a new Dr. Afra book, Chaos Agent. I really love Dr. Afra. This was not my favorite art, so I might have to wait. I might wait on this to be collected, but the story is pretty cool. Dr. Afra has to work with Luke Skywalker in this new organization to hunt down treasures, because that's what she does. She's an archaeologist. We have Godzilla versus the Avengers, which was a pretty cool issue. Godzilla fights Fing Fang Foom and the Avengers. It's the new Avengers lineup from Brian Michael Bendis' run.
Oh shit!
So yeah, I out of all the, I don't think Marvel's been doing a really good job with these, but this one's pretty cool. I like this one.
I enjoyed the FF one.
Yeah, that one was good too.
I almost picked up the Mike Allred cover one of that, but
oh yeah. I
it was
saw
too
that.
big. It was too big a week already.
Gosh, it was a big week. I also picked up the Emma Frost, the White Queen, number 1. This is a kind of a throwback series because it takes place when she was in the Hellfire Club, so it's a story at a time. But I always want to check out the White Queen, and then you get to see some really cool classic X-Men shenanigans. So Detective Comics, what is this? 1098. We're almost at the 1100 Detective Comics.
Ooh.
I wonder if they'll do an oversized issue. It's pretty good. I like the team up here. Jeff hasn't read it, so I won't go into too many details. And then the last thing I read, Bring on the Bad Guys, Dr. Doom number 1.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't pick up a Dr. Doom cover. I picked up this new Sister Sorrow character that shows up, which I have theories about. And if you know Dr. Doom's history, you also may have theories about later on. So
I forgot about that one.
All right, we got a few minutes left, so let me go through the ones I haven't read. Then Jeff, you can go through the other stuff you haven't read. Christopher Chaos hit a new year, so they relaunched the title with a new Children of the Night, and then it's got this little nice Monsters in Love backup story here, which is really cool. New episodes of The Abyss came out this week.
Hmm.
One other thing I read, but I didn't buy because I couldn't find it at my shop. Mark Russell's book from Image? No. Matt Cave? Hold on. Vanishing Point. It's called Vanishing Point. Who puts it out though? I forget. Mad Cave Studios. Yeah, so we got that. It does a little play on, it's an anthology, like a sci-fi anthology. But this one focuses on a kind of a Jetsons type of family.
Oh, okay.
So
I did see
it's
this in
really
the
cool.
store. It looked interesting.
It's on the box folder. I mean, Mark Russell has a lot to say in comics, so yeah, this one's really fun. But I couldn't find it. I need to go to other shops to pick it up.
It was at Urban Legends, which is far from you, but
yeah,
still a great shop.
I picked up this Benjamin book. I haven't read it, but we did get a copy as well from Oni Press. There's not enough time, guys. I need comics to be my full-time job, but it doesn't pay very well. Reading comics doesn't pay very well. X-Men, which is closing out. I think they're rebooting this series at 24. Like there's a new X-Men coming out.
Damn it.
You know
what issue are they at now?
18?
What issue was that one?
18.
Okay.
I think it's like double shipping, so it's gonna be like maybe in the next 3 months.
And it's and I think the new people that are shepherding the X-Men universe are the Kelly and
Jackson Lansing. Yeah.
Still
reading Moon Knight. I'm just a little behind, but I'm still picking it up. Jeff
so good.
World's Finest. Avengers. I'm gonna read this when it's all done with the one on the World Under Doom.
Here's my Avengers.
And then Nightwing and Batman and Robin. And then I read a couple things that I'm gonna do some videos on, but I figured let me just tell you. Exorcism at 1600 Pen. That's the book about the demon in the White House. That one's coming to.
Is that a documentary?
I think this was done before all that stuff because it came out last year. But it's finally coming to a trade. So I figure let me catch up on it now and make a video for the trade. Also read Dazzler World Tour, which is like a 4-issue series that's being called. The trade paperback just came out, and I caught up on the first volume of Laura Kinney Wolverine. That's the Erica Schultz book that follows Laura around. So, but that's it. That's all I have. Clay, did you get to read anything this week?
No.
Okay. Well, we got plenty. That Gromit's book.
I'm downloading them now.
Oh, that Gromit's book is great. Love it.
Yeah, I need to go back and now read Gromit's. So luckily our friends over at Image sent us a thing. All right. Well, to close out the show, do you guys have anything before I crack into this?
No.
All right.
Crack.
Free
drug giveaway.
I was wondering why it was polybag. I was like, maybe they did like a scratch and sniff thing. Crypto. So it's a facsimile.
Smell Crypto's butt.
It's a facsimile of Adventure Comics number 210, maybe. This is the first appearance of Crypto, the super dog.
Yeah.
And what a bummer. It just says sorry, but you don't win, loser.
No golden biscuit for you.
The golden biscuit sweepstakes. Win the opportunity to attend. I don't want to go to Los Angeles though.
Yeah, I was wondering when they announced it. I'm like, I bet you still have to get there by yourself. It seems like it was just to the premiere, so you had to get you there yourself, and you had to find a place to stay yourself. It made it, but I don't know. Maybe there is more to it. But I didn't really look too much into it.
Who made the budget for this? Zaslav?
Ooh,
yeah, we'll give away a free ticket, but we won't pay for anything else.
But you can use the code BISCUIT at dcuniverseinfinite.com/join/biscuit for a 30-day free trial. So if any of you guys, I'm assuming anybody can do that.
Free trial to DC Online to what?
The DC Universe, DC Infinite.
I thought like to biscuits.
I also
Okay,
see one of the dog biscuit snacks was supposedly had a special edition that came with a comic as well.
Oh,
But I don't have a dog, so I don't know anything about that.
Well, Shelby's going to get new treats for Zira, so I'll have her look to see. Like,
Yeah.
I know you're at Hollywood Feed. Do they have comics?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's our show for today. Next week we do have a plan. Actually, I have a plan for the next couple weeks. So let me break it down for everybody watching so we can wrap up. Next week, Jeff has put together a show. Jeff, you want to explain a little bit about what we're going to talk about next week?
Yeah, just about how we organize our comics in the boxes. I was organizing my comics in the boxes, and I was wondering how you fellas might organize your things a little bit differently. I know some people like to separate their DC from their Marvel, from their indie when they put them in the comics, or if it's all just one big collection, alphabetized. Some people weirdly do it by time frame, so like the early books and then modern books are separate. So I thought it would be fun to come up with a list of comics, 20 comics, and I'm like, hey guys, put these in your how would you put these in order in your boxes if I were to hand you these 20 comics?
No,
and then we can compare and contrast to see,
we
and
have
then maybe
similar styles.
all
That is-
chaos.
I could not handle chaos.
The
I've
power
got to be
of
able to
continues to
find the
grow.
issue.
So I think it'd be fun. So yeah, we're gonna do that.
I guess I'll
I've
have to
got
do a
list.
stream this week to organize comics and then just have people kind of hang out with me online because
Yeah.
So
I
look
kind of
forward to that.
thought about just pulling in one of my boxes because my boxes have images that match the comics that are in them. And so like a Daredevil box would have like Daredevil comics, but also have like Daredevil off characters.
Fancy.
So like Elektra would have her books in there.
So see, yeah, I think that's that this will be a much more interesting conversation than I originally thought.
Nice. And then on the 5th, if we have a show, I don't know what everybody's Independence Day plans are.
It's my birthday.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
Clay's birthday show. Well,
happy birthday to Clay and America.
So we can. My plan was, what if we have 2 weeks to rewatch the original Superman, and then talk about that.
And the Donner cut.
So making you guys watch 2 films feels like a lot to me. But feel free to watch whatever you want.
Okay, yeah, because I have the Donner cut, so I like to watch it.
Because the first film doesn't have it's only one cut, right? The first film. But the sequel, the second film, does have a Donner cut. So especially with Josh going into his absolute fabulous journey, I don't know if he's gonna have enough time to rewatch Superman. But maybe I might reach out to a friend. Maybe they'll wanna.
There's always time for Superman.
There's always stuff, and I've seen Superman
least
so many times.
If we have a show, because like I said, I don't know, I didn't speak to anyone about this, but I figured it's timely because hopefully, knock on all the wood, I should be watching Superman on July 8th at those early fan screenings.
You didn't even need a golden ticket.
Yeah.
I know the one thing that Amazon Prime has done correctly is let me watch Superman early. So there it is. That's what's coming up, and it sucks because I do have to work on Independence Day.
Boo.
I work for a company that's not a U.S. company, so they're like Independence Day, Sacre Blue.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly. So not our Independence Day. But interestingly enough, I had Memorial Day off, so I don't know how it works. I guess it's also because it's accounting and it's the end of the month.
Do they mock our freedom too? What? You can't do that? You can't do that?
Well, they're just like, what freedom? Oh, Sacre Bleu.
French. They mock our freedom fries.
That's right. Freedom fries for everyone. So there you go. There you have it. No golden ticket in my book. But we did get into a lot of really cool stuff with James Gunn and all that. We got some nice clips. But I think hold on, I'm getting word from our producer.
Wrap it up.
You got it, Lex. So there you go. That one's going to be played a lot. So, all right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to come back. Check out our shorts. I've been putting up shorts of some of the conversations we have on here. And let us know in the comments what you think of the future of the DC universe and what else we should talk about in an upcoming episode. Check out our Patreon. Our link's on below there. Helps us keep the lights on. So thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.
The most important thing in life will always be
Hell, Bebo.
Twitter loves you.
Simon Center, get the fuck out.
All right.